What's going on, guys? Top Tier Gaming here, and today I am bringing back a definite channel favorite for the new format that just got revealed. So it's Harpie Ladies, and yeah, Harpie Ladies are definitely a fan favorite deck, definitely a channel favorite deck, and it's a deck I really enjoy and love playing, and I think it does have some merits, this format. I think it does every format as like a sleeper pick because like people really aren't expecting it, and Featherstorm is an absurdly broken card. But yeah, I'm going to go through my list and sort of explain how I think it will match up this meta, why I've chosen what I've chosen, what decks I think will be good, and what this deck needs to counter. And yeah, just go through it a little bit. And before we get into the deck profile, a couple things. Discord and Twitter down below. We have a very active Discord community, and we're trying to have it, be fun in there and communicate with you guys and, help you with decks if you want help with that or anything like that. Join the Discord, and Patty posts, memes on the Twitter, keep you guys updated. And yeah, if you like Harpie Ladies, feel free to subscribe. I do have a lot of Harpie Lady content, like several deck profiles. I have combos, like a combo video and hand testing video for this deck. So if you're a fan of Harpie Ladies, feel free to subscribe, and we do a lot of other deck profiles and great Yu-Gi-Oh content. So yeah, I hope you do enjoy that. And then something I do before a lot of my deck profiles, because people always end up asking me, is what sleeves I'm using. So we're going to play the what sleeves are Aaron using today, and here we go. We got some character sleeves, and people always ask me where I get them. It is ebay.com. Nothing super complicated, but yeah, let's get into the Harpie Lady deck, and starting off with 3 Harpy Channeler. So Harpy Channeler, one of the main starters for the deck. Pretty simple. 2, she pitches a Harpy card to special summon a Harpy monster from your deck, and this is really good because it means it's an extender, which helps you go into link plays or rank 4 plays. But Harpy Channeler has a very nifty effect that if there is a dragon monster on the field, she becomes level 7, which can be relevant if you want to play rank 7s, or it's relevant for cards like Harpy Perfumer, which we will now get into. Harpy Channeler, just one of the strongest extenders you can have because it can be multiple extenders because she can special summon your Harpy Perfumer, which we have right here. Harpy Perfumer, arguably like the best starter in the deck because this one is less susceptible to being reliant on having another card. Like Channeler requires you to have another Harpy card in your hand. Perfumer just searches Elegant Egotist and ends up extending into plays for whatever you need at the time. But she searches any card with Harpie Lady Sisters in its text, which is really good for Feather Rest, really good for the field spell if it comes to that. And if there is a level 5 or higher Harpy monster on the field, she searches 2 cards. So yeah, she's very, very powerful. Definitely something you want to open up with or extend into with Channeler. And yeah, she is just one of the best Harpy monsters in general. And yes, we're gonna max her out every single time. There is no other option. 2 Harpy Perfumer, 2 Harpy Harpist. So Harpist is a really good card because you can pitch it with Channeler and it will provide follow-up at the end phase. You can also pitch her with cards like Forbidden Droplets if you have access to that. You don't need Forbidden Droplets if you just want to play this deck at your locals or have fun with friends. If you are trying to take this deck to a competitive event, you 100% need Forbidden Droplets because it is an engine card in this deck. Yes, if you don't think you heard that right, it is an engine card in this deck because it can pitch cards like Hysteric Sign, like Harpist, and get searches beyond what you should be able to get. We do have ways to pitch Hysteric Sign in this deck either way, so it is, again, 100% not needed, and I've won a couple of locals, at least, with this deck, and a couple of box tournaments as well, without Forbidden Droplets. But yeah, you could pitch this off a card like that and just get searches at end phase. It's like a Scarm, really good card, and we're going to play it at 2 because it is just a normal summon at the end of the day. It doesn't extend, so we don't want to draw too many, but pitching it off of Channeler is always very, very good, and specialing it off Channeler is also great. Just make sure you have follow-up for the following turns. And Oracle also has a kind of Scarm effect. Here's Harpy Oracle. We play 2 of it. If you control level 5 or higher Harpy monster, you can just special summon her from your hand, which is very good with if Channeler becomes level 7 per se, or you make the Harpy Synchro. Also at end phase, you can activate the effect when she's summoned that you can add back a spell with Harpie Lady Sisters in its text to your hand, which again gives you more follow-up for things like Elegant Egotist. And this deck can actually get into a grind besides being a very explosive first turn play deck or like board break deck. Lots of stuff you can do with Harpies. They're very versatile. And yeah, 2 Oracle. And then I choose to play 1 Harpy Queen, which might seem a little weird. I'm actually not playing that many of the field spell. But Harpy Queen just being a 19 beat stick is really, really good in really weird situations. So first of all, she can send herself from your hand to the grave to add the field spell, which is great. because I've had it where like Monster Reborn was a very needed extender, and I had to get this engraved like that, so that's a really niche interaction. Another niche interaction is if you play against a very floodgate heavy deck, like play Necro Valley, normal summon Inspect Border, set 3. You can just play the Harpy Field Spell, summon her, she's 2100, run over Inspect Border, pop a card, and she's great in weird simplified game states like that, or against really floodgatey boards. So she has her nice interactions, and you can special summon her off of like some Morg or Channeler, so her being a Harpy name is just good overall. And that's why I choose to play her, and then 3 of your Harpie Lady. Nice and original MRD art, definitely very cool, but not first, so. But yeah, I choose to play 3 Harpie Ladies. Some people tend to play 2 and a Sisters. I feel like Sisters is just a mega brick, and I don't like drawing it ever. I see where it can come up, but honestly, the way I've been playing the deck, you just want 3 Harpie Ladies, and sometimes you want more than 3 Harpie Ladies, and you're just turboing out in this card to make rank 4s or link climb. And yeah, she's just very good with cards like Unexpected Die, special summoning her off things like Ferigi. A lot of these things, the Harpie Lady Sisters just can't do. And yeah, I just personally prefer 3 Harpie Lady. If you want to play Harpie Lady Sisters, go ahead. I don't think she's a bad card. I just think I prefer Harpie Lady. And in all of my testing, I've definitely just wanted 3 of this. So if you're confused why we're playing a vanilla monster, it will be because of a spell we are playing called Elegant Egotist, if you are unfamiliar with Harpies, and I will get to that in a bit. We are, of course, playing the Barrier Statue, which is, you know, if you're going first against Drytron and you summon this card, you probably win. There's a lot of matchups like Adagnister. There's so many matchups with this card that you probably just win. It's not great versus Sky Striker, which I think will be pretty good this meta, but it's good versus so many decks, and it can make sure you live a turn so that you can win on the following turn. And then on to some hand traps. This is going to seem a little weird. I don't play like many less impactful hand traps in this deck, because usually this deck kind of goes second, kind of just try to OTK, but it has a very, very strong first turn, and if I win the die roll, I'm going to try to go first. But 4 goes second, and it's just such a very powerful card in this deck. 3, Fantastical Dragon, Phantasme. So I think Sky Striker is going to be a menace this format. Time will tell. This is very early in the format, so we don't know for sure, but Sky Strikers look dominant with Engage back. And, you know, I think Drytron still could be the better deck. I think that Adagnister will be a pretty sleeper pick. Prank Kids are good. There's so many decks that still have potential to be really great. Phantasme is still good versus most of those decks, and he's really good in this deck because if you, like, have him on field, you can, like, normal summon your Channeler and not fear things like Infinite Impermanence or Widow Anchor or anything like that that would stop your Channeler from resolving. Effect Veiler. So it can protect your plays, as well as it's a dragon, so it can actually turn your Channeler into a level 7, you pitch for Perfumer, and you get 2 cards. So Phantasme has always kind of been a really good card in Harpies, and it's the actual only hand trap I play, which might seem really weird. I'm not trying to draw more hand traps with this until after side deck, but game 1 I'm just trying to draw like either board break or plays with it. And yeah, super powerful card, definitely want to maximize it at 3, and then post side deck, you side in what like hand traps you want to see, and Phantasme can help you draw those too. But also, Double or Nothing is like one of your best win conditions in this deck, and if you draw it, you can put it back with this card. So yeah, Phantasme just hitting so many notes in the deck that we're going to maximize it at 3. Next up, 3, Pot of Prosperity. Again, this is a card you actually don't need either. You can play this deck very budget. Prosperity definitely helps seeing a play. I usually banish 3 in this deck, but there have been times where I've needed to banish 6. Just to make sure I see a play and try to get to some Morg. But weirdly enough, I actually side this card out sometimes going second, which might sound strange because you usually want to keep this in to see your side deck cards. But the halving of your damage means like games you should win, you might not win, so that's very, very bad. And also, if you just side it for more board break cards, you don't have to like take the chance you're going to see board break. You just draw the board break card, right? So, like I'd rather draw Dark Ruler, or really Forbidden Droplets. I'd rather draw Forbidden Droplets than see Pot of Prosperity, essentially. But it's really the half damage that makes it really tough to justify keeping in going second, in my opinion. But it's great for go first, which again, if I win the die roll, I'm trying to go first. 3 Hysteric Sign, one of the most busted cards in like ever. This card searches an emergency teleport, and then it's a block dragon at end phase. Yes, I am not deceiving you. That is how ridiculous this card is. You maximize this, the deck literally becomes, and one of the reasons we're playing 3 Prosperity is the deck becomes Find Hysteric Sign, or Featherstorm as well. But I just want to see this card. I want to go into the Barricade Borg play. I want to pitch it. I want to make some work, and I want to search game at end phase. That's all Hysteric Sign is. I want to search game. And Hysteric Sign is just such a powerful spell. We have to maximize it at 3. It's very versatile as well. So Yes, very powerful. And the emergency teleport it searches is 3 Elegant Egotist. If you control Harpie Lady, you can special summon Harpie Lady from your deck. So all the Harpy monsters that are effect monsters become Harpie Lady on the field, but not in deck. So this is the reason we have to play the vanilla monster Harpie Lady, because it's always Harpie Lady. And yeah, this helps you go into rank 4 plays or link climb. It is just an extender. You go through maybe 3 of these a turn in some games. You can run through 4 or 5 of these a game, like, because there's so many ways to recycle it. It is a very important piece of the puzzle. It is something you can brick on if you draw no Harpies in this. It really does stink, but you run a lot of Harpie Ladies, so hopefully that doesn't happen. And it's just a activation requirement to have a Harpie Lady on field. So like, if you activate this card and then they get rid of your Harpy, you still special summon a Harpy, which is great. Next, we have a couple of Harpy card one-ofs. We have the Field Spell, which is super great for dismantling back row decks and making your Harpies a little bigger, as well as popping your own Hysteric Sign. We have the Feather Rest, which is like an Avarice for the Harpy archetype, which is super good. If you control a level 5 or higher Harpy monster, you get to draw 2 cards instead of the regular 1. I guess it's more of a Daigusto Emerald than an Avarice, but yeah, you can make it a draw 2. And then Harpy's Feather Duster. This is a Harpy card, so it has synergy in the deck, which is bonkers. Harpy, generically, you would think, has a really good back row matchup, but back row is actually what I'm most afraid of, which is why we are playing the next card in the deck, or one of the reasons, to Twin Twister. So with Striker being really good, potentially, I think that Mystic Mine is going to be a problem. I think Schism could definitely come back into the format. I mean, it already kind of is. Schism looks scary. Prank Kids and their quick play spell Pandemonium. Twin Twister hits so much and is so good. You can hit so many field spells with this. But besides just hitting back row and being able to clear through boards and win the game, you can pitch Hysteric Sign with this, which searches game. I mean, like, it's another way to discard Hysteric Sign. I really think Twin Twister is going to be amazing this format. I think, personally, in a lot of decks, it might be better than Cosmic Cyclone because Eldritch is kind of the meta. It is deck dependent, but I've been playing Twin Twister more than Cosmic in all of my decks recently, and yeah, it's just way more high impact than Cosmic. So yeah, 2 Twin Twister. Then 1 Unexpected Die and 1 Swallow's Nest. Very good extenders or starters. Unexpected Die to get your vanilla monster is very, very good because it can start your plays by letting you activate Elegant Egotist, or you can turn it into Imduck and then summon Channeler and get 2 searches off of your Perfumer. Very, very good starter and can play through some interaction. And then Swallow's Nest can turn like bad Harpies into good Harpies, or make your Harpies dodge things like Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence or like Hot Red. I mean, Dragon Link's probably not going to exist, but we'll use Widow Anchor for this example. So yeah, Swallow's Nest, absolutely fantastic card. And then we have Monster Reborn, which have some power one-ofs. Called by the Grave and Double or Nothing. This is the best card in your deck, and Phantasme is the real best card in your deck for being able to put this back into it. So yeah, you're going to win 99% of your games with Double or Nothing. I kid you not, Harpies are the best Utopia double deck in the game because you literally search like Exodia. Hysteric Sign searches Exodia. What I mean by that, I'll show you Exodia after I show you the last card in the deck, because we're not running droplets, because I personally don't have any, but if you do, definitely run them. 3 Harpy's Featherstorm. This card is an Azathoth that is a hand trap. Yeah, I like some cards when I say what they do in Harpies, like Hysteric Sign being a block dragon and a emergency teleport searcher. These are real effects, and this card's absolutely phenomenal. You just activate it from your hand if you control a Harpy monster, but you need a Wind Wing Beast on field to activate and resolve it. And then negate all effects your opponent activates that turn. And people get really confused by this. Like, if this card is Chainlink 6 and Chainlink 1 through 5 are monster effects, they're all negated. And then any effect they activate in the banish zone, in the graveyard, in their hand, in their deck, on their field, they're negated. So Harpy's Featherstorm literally is Azathoth, but like it negates things. So if your opponent wants to activate stuff, they just lose it. And yeah, best card in the deck, 100%. Like Hysteric Sign is the best card in the deck because it searches this, which makes this the real best card in the deck. I've said that a lot, but Featherstorm is the reason to play the deck, in my opinion. And let me show you Exodia. So let's say, before I go into the extra deck, you pitched Hysteric Sign for turn. You set up your Simorgh so you get to live. In an end phase, you search Featherstorm, Feather Duster, because it's a Harpy card, so Hysteric Sign can search it, and Perfumer. So let's see why Utopia Double is just the best card in the... or it's how you're going to win all your games. So you start your turn, and you're just like, yeah, cool, Feather Duster. If they have a monster negate, you do this differently, but let's say that you're afraid of back row. You Feather Duster them. You normal summon Perfumer, you activate effect. They try to Ash or activate any monster effect. You Featherstorm from hand. You search Utopia Double, and you win the game. Or you search for Elegant Egotist, Special Harpie Lady, overlay for Utopia Double, and you just win the game. Like, it is almost always Exodia, and I've won too many games off of this, so. Yep, that is the main deck, should be 40 cards. On to the extra deck. Two Cyber / Harpie Lady. This is really great because it's a Harpy Synchro, which is level 5 or higher. Really good in grind games and can like really disrupt your opponent's plays. But it's also doesn't require a tuner. Like, people ask, how are you making the Synchro in Harpies? If you're using Harpy monsters, you don't need a tuner to summon her, so it's just any 2 level 4 Harpy monsters make this card. And yeah, she's just a great overall grind card and play for Harpie Ladies if you're not going into Samorg or you can't get there. Yeah, super good card. And then for links, we have Mduck, which this is for your vanilla Harpie Lady. If you have like Unexpected Die, or you summon Channeler, activate Elegant Egotist to get the vanilla, you turn it into Mduck, and then Channeler's level 7, which means Perfumer gets 2 searches, which is very good. Then you have the Harpy Conductor. This comes up every now and then, but honestly, it's not like the greatest card in the deck, but you need to make it sometimes. And it comes up in certain situations, especially when you can like protect your board and then send Hysteric Sign as well. Pentastag, you're playing Utopia Double, so this card just comes up. 1 Barricade Board Blocker. This card right here is absolutely phenomenal. So something to be careful about is this says 2 monsters with different names, so you can't actually take 2 Harpy monsters to make it. Because they're all Harpie Lady on the field, which is unfortunate. However, you can very often, with Perfumer or with Channeler, to get to Perfumer, or just based off Channeler, you can turn your monster into Mduck, and then you can use Mduck and the other Harpy to make Barricade Board. And the reason this card is so good is because if you have like a way to get 3 monsters on board, like whether it be Channeler and a Perfumer and an Egotist, or you had Hysteric Sign for Egotist off your Perfumer, like Perfumer, and you get 2 Egotists, any way to get 3 monsters on board. You make 2 of them into Barricade Board, pitch the Hysteric Sign from your hand, then you use your other one to make the Samorg, and you have you pitch Hysteric Sign and you get Samorg for Statue, which is again just usually game. And then you can add back your Hysteric Sign as well for another emergency teleport at end phase. So Barricade Board, super good combo piece in a lot of hands in this deck, and yeah, it's truly just a game changer for Harpies. And then we have 1 Farigite, nice and Starlight Rare. Super good in this deck because you're playing, you know, a Beast family deck, and this can be an extender for you, and also put double or nothing from your hand into your deck. So definitely something you want to play because it can help you get into your Samorg, who is essentially your go first. You just want to get the statue, so it kind of ensures you live a turn, so you can OTK them the next turn. That's your go first, essentially. Nothing to say about Samorg. You're playing a bunch of winged beasts, so it makes more than perfect sense. Onto Xyz, we have 1 Lightning Chidori because you can make it, and because it can out 2 cards. In simplified game states, this card is actually very, very good, so definitely want to run 1 of it. And then 1 Xeraphine. These are like Harpy specific, kind of like rank 4s that are actually decent and pretty good and give you options and different things other rank 4 decks can't do because you're playing Harpies. So I want to run them. Xeraphine can like permanent negate things on the field, and then he gets super huge. So it has come up and it's won me a couple games. More so when Virtual World was meta, but not in recent times. Haven't really been testing it as much or going into it as often. 1 Abyss Dweller. I mean, Drytron are really good, and Dweller's a bonkers card. We are playing rank 4 toolbox essentially, so gotta play Dweller. And then we have the Utopia double package, nice Astral Utopia. So yeah, this is how you're winning most of your games. Obviously, we're playing Utopia double, as you saw the double and nothing in the main deck. So we definitely are playing these 2. No surprise there. And then this deck actually has a really good way to summon out Zeus, and this is like a small little package here. You can make Phantasmal Dragon, which is also really amazing in time and really good. This card can just be game in really simplified game states where you're either top decking or don't have many resources and they just can't out it. It swings for 6k direct, so that's pretty great. But then you can also make it with 3 Harpy monsters. So you overlay it, and then you can swing with it direct because it does that, and then you overlay Zeus, and that's 4 material Zeus. So Harpies have a good way to access Zeus, which is great. And Phantasmal Dragon alone is very good as well. So that is it for the Harpy deck. Your side deck is very locals dependent, but for this meta, I would say things like DD Crow sound very good. Other hand traps like Nibiru, obviously. Drollin Lockbird, Lancia maybe. Yeah, so many hand traps you want to play, and board break cards like droplets if you have them, or you really should probably be maining that. Red reboot, things like that, and of that nature. So yes, I hope you enjoy the deck profile. If you do have any questions about it, you can leave a comment. I'll be sure to look at them. Any suggestions, I'll look at those as well. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to like and subscribe. This has been Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.